Today, we will be going over type 1 error. In order to understand the definition of a type 1 error, we must first understand what a null hypothesis is. A null hypothesis occurs when there is no significant difference between specified populations. Any differences that are observed in a null hypothesis would likely be due to error. When we use statistics to come to this conclusion, there is 4 possible outcomes that can occur. These outcomes are accepting the null hypothesis when it is true, accepting the null hypothesis when it is false, rejecting the null hypothesis when it is true, and rejecting the null hypothesis when it is false. Of these 4 options, a type 1 error is defined as rejecting a null hypothesis when it is actually true. In simpler terms, this means there is a false positive. Now let's go over a real-life example. This is Miss Maggie, and this is Doug, and today they are in court. Doug is being put on trial for robbing Miss Maggie of her new TV. Miss Maggie's lawyer has evidence that Doug was the one to commit this crime. Miss Maggie's lawyer said that a hat was left at the scene of the crime and he was certain it belonged to Doug. He presented an image to the jury of the hat in Miss Maggie's living room. Then he presented a picture that was found on Doug's social media. He was wearing the exact same hat. Doug was then called to the stand. He admitted to the hat being his, but he tried to explain that he was asked to water Miss Maggie's plants while she was out of town and must have left it there. Miss Maggie doesn't use email or texting, so he had no proof of this agreement. After all evidence had been given to the jury, they reached a verdict of guilty. Sadly, Doug was then escorted to jail for his crime, and the judge dismissed the court. A few months later, Miss Maggie reported another crime to the police. She said someone had stolen her jewelry box. During the investigation of the stolen jewelry box, the police department realized there was a video camera on a light post across the street. The video evidence revealed the crook's identity for the jewelry box theft, and it proved that he was also the one who stole the television back a few months ago. Doug was telling the truth on why his hat ended up at Miss Maggie's house. Doug's verdict is a good example of a type 1 error because he was charged with a crime he did not commit. In research, we use tests to determine whether an injury is present or not. If there is no injury and the test provides a positive finding, this would be considered a type 1 error.